Jimmy Kimmel, unfortunately, is facing some backlash for a cringy bit gone wrong last night at the Emmys. But was it worth all the hate he got? You get to decide. Let me give you the details. So here's what went down. Here's how it all happened. It all started when actor Will Arnett dragged Jimmy Kimmel's limp body on stage before announcing the winner of the Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series category. Okay, so we have an image showing you what happened. So there he is. He's being dragged onto the stage. Arnett also joked that Kimmel had gotten into the skinny margaritas backstage after losing in an earlier category and was now presumably drunk and passed out. So I guess that's part of the bit. Now, Arnett announced that Quinta Brunson had won the Emmy for this category because of her work on Abbott Elementary, which, by the way, just side note, I cannot recommend enough. It is an excellent show. Very, very funny. Also a little dark because it's a commentary on the public school system and how underfunded it is, but it's excellent. Very funny. You should watch it. Anyway, he stayed on stage and like awkwardly laid there as she gave her acceptance speech. The entire minute speech was with him laying there. And so people didn't like it. They felt that it was incredibly disrespectful. She went along with the joke saying, Jimmy, wake up, I won. When he wouldn't get up, she told him to hold her phone and Jimmy gave her a thumbs up. Okay. Now, he stayed on the floor throughout her entire minute-long acceptance speech. People were furious with him for doing this. They felt that it took away from her win. It took away from her speech. I'll give you a few examples. So one person, Philip Lewis, says, Jimmy Kimmel should have left the stage during Quinta's speech. Highly disrespectful. You have another person saying that if Quinta Brunson stepping over Jimmy Kimmel, who literally laid in her spotlight on the day she won an Emmy, isn't a metaphor for what it means to be a woman of color in a white man's world. I don't know what is. And author Glenn Weldon also said, breaking, white bro literally won't move out of the damn way to let the black woman have her moment alone. Now, others half joked that this was the moment we needed, like in this moment, we needed Will Smith, basically, you know, making a joke and a callback to what Will Smith did in slapping Chris Rock. Some people thought the bit was just not funny, but they weren't like losing it over what had happened. But look, what sold me on covering this story and sharing it with you is, God, Quinta is like such a class act. Not only is she incredibly talented, not only did she absolutely deserve that award, but when she was asked about the whole situation later, she said the following. I know Jimmy Kimmel, and I don't know, I felt like the bit didn't bother me that much. I don't know what the internet thinks. Jimmy gave me my first big late night spot and was one of the first people to see Abbott Elementary. And he Instagram messaged me that he saw this comedy and thought it was one of the greatest comedies of all time. She continues to say, quote, I think in that moment, I was just really happy that it was Jimmy up there. I kind of consider him one of the comedy godfathers. I'm a huge fan of Will Arnett, so I was wrapped up in the moment. I don't know. Tomorrow, maybe I'll be mad at him. I'm going to be on his show on Wednesday, so I might punch him in the face. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And obviously, she's joking around about punching him in the face. But I love that response, especially in a world where we're all encouraged and incentivized to tear each other apart. So.
Yeah. So, okay, many thoughts on this. But first, Anna, Abbott Elementary, what platform is it on?
I think it's HBO, if I'm not mistaken. I'm watching so many shows right now that I get the platforms mixed up. But it's good. Right. And it's a comedy that's like 30 minutes long. So it's not like one of those. It's not like House of Dragon, right? Which, by the way, is also excellent. I watched the first episode yesterday. Highly recommend that, too. But anyway, continue.
Okay, so I loved her response, too. And guys, I get it. It was. I watched it. It wasn't that funny, and I get the optics are not good, right? But he's not trying to screw it up for her. It's just a bit gone wrong. You got to give comedians more slack. So if they're purposely targeting trans people, black people, etc., that's totally different. But he's not doing that. He had no idea who was going to win. It could have been Henry Winkler or Bill Hader or whoever, right? So so this isn't about that at all. Should he have gotten up earlier? I'm sure looking back in hindsight, he probably thinks he should have, right? But everybody has to make a federal case out of everything. Oh my God, look at the white man getting in the way of the black. No, he's supported her career. She's going on the show on Wednesday. She likes him. It's so like, can we just have people make mistakes? I view this as kind of a small mistake. In fact, I think it might be really helpful to her. I'm going to get back to that in a second. But can we allow people to make some mistakes and not judge them for eternity?
Right. And by the way, I just want to note, so it is available on HBO Max, which is where I watch it. But it's also available on if you have ABC, you can watch on ABC. It's also on Prime and Hulu. So it's all over the place, and it should be because it's an excellent show. Very funny.
Yeah. So look, the other thing about these kind of things is, what are you, crazy? Jimmy Kimmel did her a giant favor, okay? Because otherwise nobody would have seen this. Like, yes, people who are into the Emmys, people who are in the TV industry, they would have seen it. Don't step on our moment. No, he just elevated. I mean, I know it was an accident, but he accidentally elevated her moment 1,000 times. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about. I never heard of Quinta Brunson. Never heard of her, right? I'm not the ultimate judge of it. A lot of people have. She won this award. She's apparently fantastic, right? But now, normies like me, people who haven't heard of the show, who aren't into it, are all of a sudden like, oh my God, Quinta Brunson, she's amazing. Oh my God, I got to watch Abbott Elementary. It's like the biggest favor anybody ever did for Taylor Swift was Kanye West stepping on that stage and saying, I'm going to let you finish in a second, right? Because what acceptance speech do you remember? You remember that one? And the Will Smith was not an acceptance speech. It was rando hitting Chris in the face for no goddamn reason, right? But you remember those moments. Okay, in fact, I'll prove 100% that I'm right. Name any other acceptance speech from that same Emmys.
I mean, look, to be fair, I did not watch the Emmys, and
To be fair, no one did.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Do they usually do the Emmys on a Monday night? I thought it was like a Sunday night thing.
I don't know, and I don't care, and I speak for America. So, but the only thing anyone is speaking or talking about is Quinta Brunson, okay, in Abbott Elementary. I know that he didn't intend it that way, but it was a giant favor to her. So everybody else, let it go.
Yeah, and I do want to just give his quote because he appears to be very supportive of her work. He says, she's so unbelievably talented. And I saw her pilot before it came out on ABC. And I wrote to her and I was like, I don't know how we got this, but congratulations. You made a pilot that any network would be ecstatic to get. She's a lovely person as well. And I think her response to the whole kerfuffle shows that she's a lovely person. So talented, lovely. Please watch the show. I promise you won't regret it.
Everyone here is a winner except the critics on Twitter.
They're allowed to have their opinion. I get it.
They are.
Yeah.
And they didn't go over the top. Nobody's like, oh, fire Jimmy Kimmel. They just like, hey, that sucked. All right. Yeah. You know what? I'll let go of my criticism of the critics on Twitter. Boom.
Let's all let go.